Hey, it's 1 a.m. and I currently can't sleep because I'm so inspired and I just need to draw. And the reason why is because today I went to an art museum. It was an exhibition of modern artists like Picasso, Matisse, Miro, and others. And I have seen so many amazing artworks that resonates with the stage of art journey that I am currently at. I just want to express my new ideas, try something new, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. And I will tell you what got me inspired and what I'm going to try on my artistic journey. So I went to bed and I was trying to fall asleep, but my heartbeat was so high. I was still like thinking about all these artworks. And on the way home from the museum, I was checking in my phone the biography of that artist, what are they saying, what are they were going through, and posting on Instagram about what I learned about this artwork that I liked, and it was so touching me. Sometimes I go to the museums and I'm just like, oh, okay, you was drawing here, okay, you was painting that. Sometimes it's not triggering me so much, but this time it went just like it was the right moment and the right collection of artists. What actually I have seen there is artists like Matisse, for example. His artworks, like in the beginning of his art journey, were like very simple, especially his drawings on the paper. And then he started to paint like colorful and more simplistic stuff, especially his yellow face painting got stuck in my head. And then how he started to experiment with cuts out, like how do you call it, like when you cut out of the colored paper different shapes and make out of this a composition like the whole painting. Those was very interesting, especially this Icarus painting and others, how he was experimenting with the shapes, and it was giving me ideas to my own things in my head. So I was analyzing those paintings mostly visually and taking something that I like from that. Also interesting experience that when I went to the museum, I did not expect this will happen, but I felt very clear yes and no reply to each painting. On one painting, I would look and say, no, there's nothing that interesting for me. I definitely don't resonate with feelings and what painter was going through while he was making this painting. And when I went to another painting, it was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, why did you paint this? What was your background? And that was interesting that I was feeling very clearly like yes and no to each painting. For example, paintings that were giving me a feeling that yes, I like it was paintings that had free brush strokes. When you feel that artist was not pressuring himself while he was doing that. So an example of this kind of thing was this yellow face. Was it called yellow face? Face on the yellow background. Yeah, it's painted with very free movement of the brush strokes without, touching it again, going second layer, changing a little bit shape here and there. That's what I usually do. And so this an example of artists not doing this. And that's what I am interested right now. And also another painting that I liked, Edward Willard. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. Madame Hessel and Lulu in the dining room. That painting was interesting because, you can see clearly what the story is about, but it is done in a very easy way. And another example of such artwork was the almost the only one woman artist that I have seen in the museum, Maria Blanchard, the fruit plater. That was also interesting for me because how she did grapes. In the grapes, it's not only like green, but there's also violet, light pink. So yeah, I found it interesting, and she did not go too much into details. She left it simple. That's why I like this painting. Then I went to a room with Picasso paintings, and there was this amazing painting, a woman with a hat. I liked it because it's simplified to a point. You really went to a level of experiment. He gives two fucks about drawing realistically, blah blah blah. It really touched me, and there was a quote printed on the wall that was saying, "I learned how to paint as a Raffaello. Now I have to learn how to draw as a baby." And this really resonates with the stage I'm currently on, because even a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was painting quite realistically. So here is an example of painting of mountains, or for example, this is a painting of cloud, or this is a portrait. So it was kind of like, yeah, I was taking a photo that I like and let's go and paint. And it was enjoyable from the perspective like, oh wow, I can reach this technical level of painting. I can understand what's missing, what color to choose to depict it correctly like it is in the reality. But other than that, I was not enjoying the process so much. And just to paint, to prove to everybody that I'm technically capable. I found it a poor reason to do art. So that quote resonated with me a lot, and I was like, yeah, right now I'm also trying to learn how to draw as a baby, because I am so strict to myself in my head when I'm painting. I want to prove to the world something. I want my paintings to be liked by somebody. I want them to be sold, blah, 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 blah. And it's so hard to get rid of these constructions in your head, like concepts in your head, that to give yourself to paint whatever you feel. For me, painting as a baby, painting loosely, painting abstract, much more harder than, okay, let's take a photo. I do this. I know the strategy. Technically, I am capable, and let's go. And that's why I'm in the stage of experimenting and searching and liberation of my brain from myself. That's how I decided to start this abstract painting style, and I don't know where it will bring me, honestly. So the sketchbooks that you see that you see in the video that I started, I kept doing these abstract pages for the last 3 days. I really like the results. I completely don't pressure myself. It's just do whatever. We are not doing it to sell. We are not doing it as a project, as a new collection that has to be something. No, just put a paint on the page and move it around. This is the pages that I did recently, and I'm going to continue doing these sketchbook pages. And I really like using these neon colors. I really like these bright things that I started to do, this like spiral neon galactic in the space. I really enjoy these things, or these like shapes. They reminded me of those shapes that I have seen in Matisse's works. Probably it's something from my brain kicked and I drew them. And for example, this page that I painted is, I call it distortion of a personality, because there is this human figure and the nose, mouth, and eyes that are floating around separately from him. And the background was like leftover paint that's left from the previous page. So I just messing with paints, like moving them around, go randomly with whatever your brain creates, like whatever like randomly comes to your mind. And it's so interesting. If you're an artist, or if you're not, I recommend to try this practice, because you can do it not even with paints, with just pencils or markers or whatever. It's just interesting to follow your brain. And the important part, the rule that I'm using is no Pinterest. Because if I turn on the Pinterest, it's going to be never ending story of searching for inspiration. And I spent so much time, so many hours that I could paint. I spent on Pinterest and just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and never starting actually painting. So no Pinterest if you want some music as a motivator, inspirator, something, but no Pinterest. Just open the page and start doodling something without trying to get inspired, get an idea, get a reference. No, you don't need that for abstract art. I did not create any masterpiece that night, but I enjoyed the time, and I opened a new thing for me. And it's so fun that sometimes I cannot even stop myself, and sometimes I paint 2 pages of the sketchbook, and then I like, oh, now it has to dry, and I want to keep painting. What do I do then? So I started to make postcards, and they're so cool. I actually want to send it to someone, because why would I store it somewhere in the pile of my drawings? I want to send it to somebody, so maybe in Instagram I'm going to make a story or a reel or something like I did before. So I was choosing people randomly just from comments. Whoever left a comment, I was sending postcard last month, I guess. So maybe I will do the same. Yeah, I enjoy this practice, and I want to keep doing my abstract pages in the sketchbook. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was interesting, and subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next videos.